Hello. So I'm going to do something a bit different that I've not normally done. Is I'm going to create show how I could create a record cover, and I'm going to do a fake one because obviously this nobody's commissioned me to do a cover on live on a video. So I'm create a fake band. It's going to be a self-titled release, um, release in air quotes, but it shows how a collage art piece could be used in a on a record cover, and also a little bit of a demo for me. I think. So what I'm going to do is I've got all the I've already pre sorted out all the elements that I'm going to use. This one here is two elements from a previous piece where I'd found that I'd found in my work in progress folder the layers open, and I like this whole thing of this um, this sea captain with the googly eyes on that I used for a previous piece. I'm going to keep that, but so since I don't have to move stuff about both of them about the same time, I'm going to lock the layers together. I'll see if I can do this on Krita. So I'm going to have, hopefully it'll be a merge down. Flatten layer. And I've still got the transparent background, that's good. But I don't want this guy on the right, I want him on the left. So image, let's see, I'll rotate. There's a flip image because here we go. Mirror image horizontally. This is it. I always get these two mixed up. That's it. So I'm used to do these on Photoshop. This is why I'm a little slower on this. So, but I want this to be record cover size. So let's see how tall it is first. So I'm going to, this is resize, not resize canvas yet. Scale image to new size. So let's see if it does inches, and it does. So the height is 10.90. I will do it as 12 inch because that's like an album. So 12 inches. Now I'm going to need the left and right to be that size as well. So now I will go to resize canvas and click for it to go from the left outwards. So the right side will be bigger. So that's why I've clicked it here. So these arrows here show which way around the resizing would work. So new size, you have to do inches. A lot easier. Yes, they do. And the width, I want it to be 12 inches. So there we go. Now, since I have to think about eyes, and also you have this these googly eyes here, what I'm going to do, and ordinarily it would be really off, some might consider it off-putting that these are clearly a different type of drawing. They do stand out. They're like it's almost like 2D type of coloration as opposed to like 3D. No, there's no shading. But in this case, I think it works because it's the googly eyes stand out even further this way. So eyeballs. So unfortunately, with this, I haven't found a way of, well, with Photoshop, I would be able to just pull this out to be like a floating window, and then grab this and move it along. I don't know a way of doing that on Krita. So what I'm going to have to do is select it, copy it with Control and I'm using Control and C, and I'll go back to here, Control and V. That's it in. However, as you see, this is a lot smaller, so I will see what resizing it will look like manually. I want this to be big enough to do that. Let's shrink down a bit. The thing is, I like this big eye as well. So what I'm going to do is I will rotate it. Here we go. Oops, nearly done. Oh, shrink that out a bit. It doesn't have to be 100% straight. That's fine now. And what I've got to do now is I've got to bring this behind here. So I've got this thing with the eyes. I like having the eyes there, so I think that works very well. Especially wanted this big one, and I wanted it here, specifically here, so that works very well. Now the next part of it is I've got this thing of this. We have this hat in the iris, or the pupil even, of this big eye. I want this jar. So I'm going to, in this case, I don't want to take the whole page, so I was going to call the album Magic Liquid. No, I have a name for the but I was going to give it the name of the band, the fake band. So this turns out to be actually kind of the right size. So what I'm going to do, so now what I need to do is I've got to get rid of a load of this. So I've got this polygonal tool here. I'll do a rough cut around everything. And it gives me a quick rough idea of how things are going to look ish. You'll and so I've got an idea of this if this is going to work. If it doesn't, I'm in a bit of trouble. So I've got this idea now of how this looks. What I've got to do actually is then click on here to get rid of it. I think this will look pretty well. So whoops, didn't need that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to now zoom in so I can cut more finely around the edges. Now, ordinarily, I might try a magic. I would try to like a magic tool. However, I'm not sure if that would give a smooth edge. Something like you give a smoothish edge. I don't think it would in this occasion because it is a little. It's not a very crisp edge around from the white background to the actual prop thing I'm cutting around. So it wouldn't. I don't think it would. I'd be doing more. The amount of cleaning up I'd be doing, I might as well cut it out anyway. Because when using the magic tool, I usually have to do a bit of cleaning up. And what I'm doing here is, I'll zoom in a bit more actually. I'm going fairly close to here. I'm using this polygonal tool here. And what I do is I do what I usually do when I'm doing cut and paste. Is I will take a little away because I don't want to cut. I could spend time cutting around the entire thing. I have done this before and it's gone. I've done all that. I've done all that working and it's gone wrong. Something's gone wrong. I've clicked something and it's gone wrong. So this, bit by bit, I can see the thing coming away a bit, and but also if something goes wrong, I haven't lost the entire lot of work, which is incredibly frustrating when that happens. And as with cutting with a scalpel, I mean, I could actually make a way finer and more smoother cut if I wanted to. And there's I don't know if this is anything to go anything like Photoshop in this regard, but there you do have things like masks where you can do separate things a lot easier, and there's a lot of blending you can do. This I'm doing it intending to look a little bit more like what my analog collages look like. So I'm not using digital to make it look how most digital photo montages look. A lot of digital artwork where it looks as smooth as hell. It looks almost photographic. This is not what's going to happen here. And as I've just demonstrated here, something's gone wrong. And it's gone across, so I have to start again. But at least it's not starting again from the very, very beginning, which would be frustrating as hell. For some reason, I can't move the image along here like I was just trying to, like I can with Photoshop. And it would probably be quick and easier doing this with Photoshop. but I want to demonstrate it on Krita because that's a free one that people can learn how to use. So my version of Photoshop is Photoshop 6 because that's the one that I bought. I'm not paying Adobe money to rent software that I don't need it to be. I don't need a Photoshop that's that advanced. So this piece of software seems to do most of what I need, apart from it just stuff like this. And I don't need it to be that advanced. So it would just be a waste of money renting something that's just that overperforms for what I need for the sake of I'm using the newest model, newest version. And to be honest, having it for the newest version would literally just be for video purposes. And I don't make enough doing this to nearly enough to doing this to justify that. But right now I'm not making anything doing this, so it's all right now for the sake of the fact that I'm just doing it, just partly for the fun of it, and also then to damn it, to help with bit of instructional purposes. And see, sometimes I keep forgetting I'm not using Photoshop. Where when I was using this tool and I ran up to the edge of the picture like that, it would actually move the picture up. It would scroll along. This one doesn't do that. So Krita developers bear that in mind. Although I'm not even remotely complaining because this is a totally free piece of software, and it does amazing work. So for that, I am incredibly grateful. And that's just like a little minor gripe that I can just learn to work around. But I'm trying to get rid of these pointy bits here. For one thing, you can see bits of the original blue that goes around, and it looks a little unsightly and wrong. This is one benefit, obviously, as I've talked about before, a big benefit to doing this on software is you have the ability to undo if you go wrong, which is amazing, and it's a shame. It's obviously something that cannot be done analog. So let's see what this looks like. Now, one problem also is when you've used like a cutting tool or something, part of the thing goes around, part of the background stays around. And I wonder why this eye looks like this now. Let's have a look. See if moving along will do something. No. So I don't know why the background has done this. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to have to look in on that, redo that background again, the eyeballs. No, they're like that anyway. That's right then. Okay. So it's just one of those things. Now, if I can move this here, things are all called background. You don't see that too much. So, but now here is the question that I want to know. This is how it's looking so far. Should this be left hand or right hand? So currently it's right hand, See how it looks like being a left hand. So no, well that's so let's zoom that out. Control and T, and I will then see about changing it. I don't know how to actually do that on this one because ordinarily I'd have like edit. In the Photoshop, I go into edit and then saying about the transformation. Tools, settings. Okay, well it looks like this one is going to be this way anyway, until I figured out another way of sorting stuff like that. So, but what I want to try and do is I'm going to copy it. Then I'm going to make this. I'm going to make this. Let's see. There should be a copy of that. That's very weird. Right, so I should be copying this. So, copy layer. And there should be a copy of that, and it hasn't turned up, which is very strange. Duplicate layer or mask. Let's see about that. Here we go. So what I wanted for that is I'm now going to make this one less opaque, because what I'm going to do now is I have these lungs, and they are going to go in the jar. So select them, Control and C, then Control and V. So I will then do zoom right in so I can see what I'm doing better. And I will put them behind this copy of background. I'll press Control and T, and that hasn't done anything. So yes, I've got to select it. Now Control and T. Now what I can do is I can make these smaller, so then we fit in. And so I've got to learn here something I want to do about the colour. So image. Let's see anything about colour. That image colour space, whatever that is. I'd like to do like a colour balance thing, but I don't know if I can. I should have learned this up beforehand. Image background colour and transparency. So let's see, very pink. That hasn't really done much, if anything. So what I will do is there you go. You've got a little bit there. And what I'm going to do is I want these, the tracheal tube from the lungs to go to the top. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select it and I'm going to stretch it. That hasn't, I've selected the wrong bit. Now, I've got to make sure the right layer was selected. So now, that's that at the top there. Now, the title, the name and title, the name of the band and what's going to be the name of the record is from what I've heard some talking about people vaping. There's a term called bubblegum lungs, hence the reason why I've got the lungs in there. So that's what I'm going to call the band, because I thought that is actually a pretty good band name. So I'm going to first write here, and they have a slightly bizarre text selection here on Krita. It's running a bit slowly today, so that could just be my laptop. And we have here some technical issues and some pinwheeling. So let's try again. Very least here you have the artwork, even if you don't have the text. It's not the best investment for Krita. What I'm going to do is I'm going to pause this video and I'm going to shut a load of things down, and then I'll see how well, if that will speed things up. I'm back again. So actually, it's nothing to do with how slow it was. What I have here is, got to get rid of this now. Figured out how the text situation works, as in I've got to draw a box on here, and you've got here where it says placeholder text. I'm going to write in capitals bubblegum lungs. Looks like it is actually a very good for a name for a punk band. Currently, I'll set the text to size to 36. See if that looking good. And before then, I found some. That's no good. A couple of new fonts. I mean, that is fairly punky, but I'm not going to use it for this. So, just remember what they're called now. So, this is it slowing down and not responding now, because that's Windows for you. I'm just going to wait for the pinwheeling to stop. It's quite embarrassing. Here we go, not responding. Here we go. Now we're back. Up and running. Here we go. There's one called Punk Typewriter. And we'll see how that looks. When the damn thing works. Right, yeah, so it's still very small though. So what I'm going to do is right, so 36 is obviously too small. So let's try 72. That's still going to be too small. So let's try 120. Now, I'm going to make this bigger, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to make this possibly a pink lettering, bubblegum pink lettering, and then see if I can do some kind of a stroke around it. which I've never done on this particular piece of software before. I've only ever done it on Photoshop, so I'm going to have to figure out how to do this. As you can see, I've come into this video woefully unprepared. So I'm just going to look this up on my phone while this starts to work, try to work anyway. Which is not really doing for me. It's being a swine. Here we go. So I'm going to have to make this bigger. And so let's see what it looks like, 160. And the coloration will be this kind of bubblegum pink. Let's see if we have an edit. Maybe insert, formats, settings. Nope, none of that. So I'm still looking at this now. So let's see what it looks like. It's still too small. Right, I don't even know if you can do this on here, but instead of typing in new sizes, I will use this tool to try and make it bigger. Which again, it's not doing. So this software is massively failing me right now. Okay, so I'll have to try it on with the different sizes again. 60. I'm pretty sure that's what I put in before. So let's see how this looks now. It's still too small. So right, so what I'm going to do is I'll see then if now I can. Nope, it's not going to let me do that. So for some reason it's not letting me go any bigger than this with the text, which is very strange. Right, let's see if it's done it now. No. So what I'm going to have to do is maybe do a little bit of cheating. I will select around here, Control and T, and see if it'll make it. Yeah, let's make it bigger that way. Now let's see whether I can do it. If I can't do an outline, I'll have to do a background, a black background behind it. But let's see if doing the layer. We'll do this. I did see a thing about if you right mouse click on the layer. So that's vector layer with the text, right click it and select layer styles. So what does it say, layer styles? Nope. Oh, here we go, layer style. And then here we go. Stroke. This is how we do it then. So I'm learning along with you. Although you're probably not learning much. So, and it has got the stroke on there, I can see. So, hey, so here we go. And this is the this is the cover. I think actually it works well having this stroke around here, because it's stroked around all these little bits there. So since the whole thing is about how vaping is bad for your lungs, this will these are quite possibly quite indicative of the the mess that your lungs are going to be after all this. So just try and get this in the right spot. It's in the right spot. It's not performing fantastically well today. So everything's a little slow today for some reason. But here we go. And this is the cover. So I think this is apart from how long it took for everything to work out. This has worked out. This works out fairly well, I think. I like the look of it, so I'm gonna save that. What I'm gonna do now is, of course, I have to do now is I've got to flatten it. So layer, flatten image. So that's all just one image now, and I can save that now as a JPEG. And here we go. So let's find the JPEG. We'll save that, and I'll put it in a proper folder later. But that is now the cover. So thank you for being patient with me, for those, if any of you have stayed to the end of this. I shall improve my creative skills as I go, and I shall also make sure everything's off and everything's optimized on the computer before I start to see a video like this. Things may perform a little better. I don't know how to do the thing about the text now. Well, I learn the thing about the coloration, because that does happen a bit when I'm doing it digitally. If I can alter the color, then I will. I'm not going to restrict myself just to cut stuff out. So let me know what you think. Like, share, and subscribe. My description has my merch links and my link tree, which has my merch links and my socials, and my Patreon link. Because like I said, I'm not making anything from the videos alone right now. So, or any help will be appreciated. Liking, sharing, subscribing is very helping me for free, because that and the views will increase the views, and then I'll start to. Then for that, I'll be able to get the the money coming in, if there's any of that. So I shall speak to you soon. Thank you.